Divyanshu, how are you feeling as we begin our conversation?
I'm feeling normal to be honest. A little quite tensed because this is my first time I'm giving such. It's not an interview, but it's a kind of first time that I'm giving a talk on a podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we are starting our geotechnical engineering podcast series. So first I will start with your personal journey. So can you share a bit about your journey so far? What has shaped you into the person you are today?
So it's a very deep question to be honest. My journey. Yeah, my journey was quite motivated by, the motivation was instilled by my father. Like he was very strict initially about the education, and in the starting years, I was not very serious about it. But the pressure to get a rank, and once you start to taste success, you start like crave for more. And I see my brother and sister, they're also doing well in the academics and got motivation by them. And also my mother was quite supportive in the starting. So the journey was it's inspired in the very early in the very early days of my career. And yeah, they pushed me along, and I'm grateful to them, and that became my main motivation. And regarding I know sure that you are coming to the IITJEE for sure, and that my brother was the main motivation to run, because he prepared for IITJEE. At that time I got introduced to such the tag like regarding the existence of IITs. I've never been before that I was not aware of that. So when I came to know about IIT, I started like learning more about it. I got very inspired that okay, there are many, like there are central institute that who provide such facilities, and where you can study, do well, and they provide such plethora of opportunities that like hardly any other institute will provide. So that became my main motivation, and I prepared really well for
So
it.
Divyanshu, moving forward, so
Mhm.
it's about the first impression of ITJE. So what is your honest reaction when you first encountered ITJE result? कि I had make into the ITJE. So from a village boy to clearing the ITJE, which is a dream to millions of Indian youth.
Regarding IITJEE, yeah, I do remember the first, like the day when the result was declared. And I think everyone like who have prepared for this exam, who are preparing for this exam, like they are very much motivated, because like this kind of such the main challenge is the competition. Though there's a like the exams is really tough to, like the questions are really challenging, but the main challenge is the competition. Like there are many candidates who are like preparing for it, and the seats are limited. So I prepared in quota, and I do remember like there are many around millions of students who are preparing for it in quota. I know there are like many other students. And um, I like we after giving the exam, we were like quite tense, like how we performed. And still, like if you see the evaluation based, like the response sheet has been declared by some coaching institute, where you matched your given response and the actual response, and you get an sort of estimate that okay, you might have performed well, you might get a rank. So those who are in that range, they are quite tense to be honest, because like they are tense about like which rank should I supposed to get. And I do remember that when I get the notification that the result is declared, I was wearing a black shirt, and it was during a very hot weather in Kota. And I immediately run from my apartment, like I was in a PG. And it was like such like the black shirt was like absorbing all the heat. It was like burning sensation. Even though I was running, like I have to see my result, I have to see my result. And at that moment the internet got hanged, because everybody starts to check out their own results. And I do remember I was my rank was not that good, like still thousands. But I was quite happy that I was able to crack, because like giving 2 years of your life and with full devotion, Um, yeah, it takes a lot. It takes a lot.
Actually, I remembered when we are reading the Tata McGraw-Hill maths book, it is written that behind the back of the book, in this area of fierce competition, only the best survive. So
Yeah,
that kind of pressure is.
that's true. And even like all the when you buy any booklets or any notebook in Kota, like all the starting. I don't know now how they are printing the notebook, but at that time when like most of the notebook were like the cover page was any like related to any IIT, where they provide the cover page of IIT, the photo of IIT on the cover page, and just some information. Okay, this IIT is famous for this IIT. So like I was during my free time, whenever I was like get stressed out, or like I was feeling drained out because of the study, in the meantime to get motivation I looked at simply at the cover page. Okay, this is the dream. So it was quite innocent. It was a quite innocent moment for me, because like people who prepare for JEE are really giving their whole emotions to it. It's really a emotional moment. Yeah, preparing
Yes,
for
because
IIT.
in between they left everything else
Yeah,
other than
exactly,
study.
exactly. They hardly celebrate any festivals, and living aside from the family. Yeah.
Eating not that much very good
Yeah,
food,
very good food. Yeah, but
doing the assignment daily.
doing the daily assignment. Yeah, because there is a concept of DPP, daily practice problem. So uh, like you have to do it regularly, and the notion is that if you skip any of the DPP, it will be tough for in the coming years. So but the thing is that things got so messed up, or you can say that the once the like once you start studying and this coaching will give you assignments and everything, things start to build up. And once they start building up, there are so much things to do that it's hard to do all the things at once. For me it was like I was preparing for physics, chemistry, math, and my math was little weaker, but my physics was quite good. So it was quite challenging to pick up all the three subjects. So I do remember that to make a balance, I start giving less focus on one subject and more focus on the stronger subject. I know it's not a very ideal rule, but that that rule helps me little bit. Yeah.
So this is one part of the journey where you clears the IITJ. Then how did you feel when you know you have finally make it to the IIT Kanpur, and how was the overall experience beyond academics in IIT Kanpur?
Overall experience beyond academics. Okay, so there are like many questions in it.
So
But
it's like
yeah,
first entering the
yeah,
IIT Kanpur.
first. So to be honest, I was little scared because I know that part of journey is very much assigned to me. I have to do. I know my duties. Like I have to study, prepare for it. But after that, I was not aware of it. Right. I don't know how to I didn't get the impression that how will I supposed to start my college and going to any premier institute. Like there are many notions like involved that okay, you are going to do very things of national importance. There are things, but in the undergrad things are quite easy. I was little tense that how should I supposed to start my journey, going to a new place, living among candidates who are also well talented because they also have cleared the IITJ. So yeah, I was little tense, but once I reached there, in the starting it was difficult because um, most of the people who prepare for IIT, they're quite isolated, they're not socially well versed, and they find hard to interact with others, find hard to make a social connection. So starting was difficult, and with most of us.
I think because from morning to evening the classes are there, then you will do the assignment.
Right.
So nothing is left other than food and sleep.
Right, yeah, exactly. So like during the time where I was staying in Kota, I hardly speak anything. Like even it was difficult for me to initiate a conversation in my native language, like Hindi. Hindi में नहीं बोल पा रहे थे. So the thing is that yeah. So going to Kanpur was like it was really hard to initiate a conversation. Like I was thinking that it's easy to solve a problem rather than making a conversation with the normal people. So but things do get changed. Seniors were quite interactive. They make us like there's a concept called ragging, but it's not ragging, to be honest. It's mostly about the interaction between junior and senior. I know it may have existed in the past, I am not sure of it, But during my time, there was a session called where the seniors and junior have a kind of interaction, and it was it was fun, to be honest. I initially I was scared, but
Okay.
because I had the impression of ragging, and if you have any false notion, and especially the scarier notion. So it was a scarier notion of me that oh no, what I'm going to supposed to do. But they were quite friendly, and they make me I know they kind of push me beyond my comfort zone, and that helped me a lot, yeah, in making conversation.
So other than academics, what did you can tell us about the sports
Okay.
extracurricular?
I think I've answered only one part of the question.
Yes.
The previous question. What was the next part?
Next part is like overall experience beyond academics.
Beyond academic. Okay. So beyond academic, I would say that like for the first time in life, you will get a lot of exposure beyond study. Like you will get a facility. Like you will get interaction. Like you will have the opportunity to do some drama, dance, music. There are also sports facility, like a facility which is beyond available anywhere, hardly available anywhere in India. Like swimming pool is there, which is like a Olympic size swimming pool, and tennis court, basketball court, all things are there. Even the courts are also there in the hostel. Like you can simply play during nights. Yeah. So you get a lot of opportunities, and you make very good friends in the college. And beyond academics, I would say I was not that much aware. Like I didn't, to be honest, I didn't explore that part. That I regret little bit. Yeah, but I didn't explore. I was mostly focused on friendship and like making bonds and like playing games. Yeah, and little and academics, of course.
So you did your B.Tech in civil engineering from IIT Kanpur. Then why you converted the B.Tech program into dual degree, which means B.Tech plus M.Tech? So what drive your passion for pursuing higher education and continuous learning?
Okay, so it's not an ideal answer. I'm not going to motivate my audience here. Anyway, so I would say my condition, like in the starting I was like once you exposed to a lot of other things beyond study, so you starts to pursue things which interest you, and the initial moment I think for me it was very confusing. What should I supposed to do? I've never think about myself, like I've never thought like what should I supposed to do, what makes me interesting, what is the main ultimate goal of my career. I all in before till high school or till 12th I thought that the ultimate goal is to crack JEE, but I haven't think after that. And so the starting years I didn't thought about that much. I was not very serious about the academic part, and I do pass all the courses, but my grades were not that good. And so what happened, there was a like to get an internship or to go for placement, like generally the things are based on the CPI, like, yeah, right. So the if you have a top scorer, you get, it will be easier for you. So I was in the third year I realized that the academics and the grades are quite relevant in your profile, right? You have to do a lot to build a good profile so that you can easily get accepted in the industries part. So I was once I got to know about that part, I was a little tense because I didn't do a lot of things, because most of the people who are like well aware of sort of that thing, they already do a lot of internships and they make good connection with the industries. So at that moment I realized I need some more time, and the dual degree was kind of a escape, I would say. And initially for me it was escape. I didn't start with the notion that I'm really interested in higher education. So
does it like a improvement over the previous academics? You can improve
so
upon and
yeah,
build good grades.
it started off like in the third year I realized that in only 1 year at the time, so I thought that maybe if I converted to dual, I will have like one additional more year where I would get additional degree and also get the opportunity to improve my profile. So I started dual degree with that notion. And to be honest, once I started the dual degree program, I have to do some PG level courses, which is the kind of foundation for the research. So once I started the PG level courses, I find it really interesting because once you like what should I supposed to do? You have to realize uh, one should realize how one should like going to contribute to the society, and like doing the basic courses which doesn't feel like you are going to be an independent engineer, like
Yes.
especially in the civil engineering part.
Yes, I do remember you took like dynamics of structure of
Yeah, I
coalescer, then
yeah.
finite element course by
Yeah, the finite element.
aerospace.
Yeah. So the finite
faculty.
element and the structural dynamics course.
What is the name of that faculty in aerospace? FEM course?
Chinmay College.
No, that is dynamics of structure.
Like
That finite element, aerospace.
Okay,
We
okay.
went to that building.
I do
Others.
remember.
I still remember he wears specs. Yeah.
That's a very
Common.
Yeah. I don't remember right now, but yeah, he was quite good. Yeah, I think at that time he joined the institute
Yes.
and he was taking first time that course. So it was also his first time teaching that course, and we were also like I was also doing my first PG course. So
PG.
it was kind of first and I quite enjoyed that course. So I feel the notion of independence, that how, as an engineer, how can I be independent, and that course provides the basic foundation for it. Yeah.
So, would you say that those experiences enriched your life in unexpected ways?
That's a very deep and general question. I wouldn't say that coursework is going to give you a kind of security thing. No.
I mean to say that when you dwell upon people are some copying their assignment, but you did whatever you get you on your own.
So
that help you to get A grade. Actually,
I'm going to accept this fact because I was always kind of honest with the exams and assignments. So I didn't try to copy the assignment because I had the notion that if I'm copying it, I'm not doing it, and I didn't feel the excitement to complete it. So what happened that even in my undergrad, I had the opportunity to simply copy the assignments and complete it to get a few good grades. But I was like, no, if I'm not doing it, I'm not feeling the excitement, so I'm not submitting the assignment. So, but in the PG courses, when I started doing it, I do, and it helps. It helps to kind of give you confidence. The main thing is that you're not going to remember. See, I hardly remember the name of the instructor, but the thing is that I had the confidence. Like doing well in courses will give you confidence if you're doing it honestly. That's the basic thing.
Actually, it create interest for future
Future also, and also gives you confidence that okay, these are the things that I did and I performed really well. Then suppose if things related to that field comes later in my life, I would be like confident that okay, I can do it. I can have to go through some literature, brush up my skills, and yeah, I will do it.
And also, cycling is often a big part of campus life at IIT. So, what role did it play in your experience there in relieving the stress?
Cycling, okay. I would say that till 12th I hardly did any physical activity, but when I went to Kanpur, cycling was the only physical activity that I did over there. But I started, doing physical activity because then I realized that the importance of healthy mind is also the physical activeness is there. You have to be physically active to be mentally healthy. So yeah, initially I simply go from hostel to academic, like the building where all the lectures are being held. But after that, once you have like a good friend circle and they're also very active, so then we started making trips around the Kanpur area. We started pick up our bicycle and move around the city, which is little I would say, because the traffic is little bad in Kanpur, but I would say it's quite exciting, and yeah, it's also healthy.
And we also know that techkriti is celebrated event at IIT Kanpur, showing different technical events. So, what are some of your fondest memories or key takeaways from participating in techkriti IIT Kanpur?
Okay, techkriti. I do. So, techkriti and antragni, these are the festivals are being organized for the students, and I would say I didn't, till my undergrad, I didn't take any advantage of these events. So I do participated in few of it, but I would say, um, uh,
Did you remember anything displayed at techkriti?
So, what I do remember,
Mm.
yeah. So, main thing is that during techkriti,
Mm.
many renowned scientists and people who have make a very significant contribution in the field of engineering and techkriti, as the name implies. So, they come as a guest, and attending their lecture will give you kind of motivation, and motivation is a big thing, especially if you are starting your career.
Yes, actually, when you listen to them, it's like they have achieved. So the conviction we get is just
Right,
outstanding.
yeah, exactly.
actually. So, and also Antaragni is known for its vibrant cultural energy. So how did it impact campus experience? Because all the stress is relieved in the whole year from
Okay, so
means
yeah.
like
Okay, so
events at
regarding
Kanpur.
antragni, yeah, definitely, because if you see the gender ratio in Kanpur, like in any IITs, so it's quite bad. Like the boys are in majority and girls are.
Actually,
like,
it's
yeah.
worst in civil engineering. Batch of
In Kanpur,
120,
only, like in all
girls.
the IITs, maybe right now they have
Yes.
like giving some flexibility in like making giving some quotas to girls so that
Yes.
they can increase the, like improve the ratio. But at that time it was quite bad. So during Antragni it was a moment where the ratio was like balanced. So everybody was quite happy.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's I can say right.
And also, I remember that in during the placement at IIT Kanpur, you choose to leave your placement at HSBC to prepare for engineering exam at MEDIC. What led to that decision, and how do you reflect on it now?
Right now, at that moment it was painful. But right now I'm happy. I can tell you the reasons why.
Yes.
So at that moment, I was little confused because once I start getting exposed to research, I started getting more interest. And at that time, my advisor was Professor Arghya, and he was very good researcher. He's a very good researcher. So I do have some conversation with him, and he mentioned about the universities, like foreign universities who are making contribution in the research. So, and from there I get the hope, like there are also various places in the world where you can go and learn some more skills, like right. So I got the motivation. I also got that motivation, and also I have the motivation to earn money, right? Because we want to be financially independent. So I once. At that moment I was very happy because I had both the offers in my hand. I got
Yes,
the placement in HSBC, and also had the PhD offer from University of Waterloo. But the thing was that due to some mishappening, I left my job because I was like I'm going to for research, but due to some mishappening, I also kind of didn't join PhD there.
Yes.
So I end up with nothing at that moment, and I finally but at that moment my family was quite supportive.
Yes.
Yeah, and they were like just do. There are also other. I was like what should I supposed to do?
Yes.
Because at that moment during that moment of time, like my mind only think about these things only, jobs
Yes.
or higher education, and I couldn't think about the other options. And there my family was like, no, there are also other things to explore around, and
But-
engineering services,
Yes.
administrative service exam. So they kind of like just go and do, just give a try, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you need that compulsion. Maybe you are not getting something which you want. So that compulsion or that pressure builds you into something bigger. I think so.
Maybe.
Because I remember then when you are doing engineering preparation, so few concepts from SOM, from fluid mechanics, you used to discuss. So you are very happy. So as a cheerful means.
So I was studying from the notion of a researcher, to be honest, because I already got the taste of research in my masters, and once I started brushing up my undergrad courses, I was like I started getting perspective from the, like, I'm not learning from like just cram things, because mostly in engineering services you have to cram the formulas, and you have to you have a very good memory and stack up all the data in your mind so that you can answer question within a very short duration. But I was preparing, I was like reading and learning all the things from the researcher point of view. Okay, these are the fundamental things, and these are the, like the other principles that I've already read, and these things like in the undergrad you hardly know that. Okay, you simply, okay, you hardly know about like the basic fundamental theorem from the, like for example I can say about the soul part, like where I studied continuum mechanics, and SOM is like just a part of the continuum mechanics. So yeah, I felt very happy and I enjoyed reading the undergrad courses
So-
from the research point of view.
So it's a kind of a revisit of whatever you
Yeah,
learned there.
exactly. Yes.
And I also remember that regarding your first publication, so tell us about it and how Dr. Arghya's guidance influenced you. How did it shape your career later?
I'm not very happy about the first publication, though I tried my best. It was not, I know, like my research was mostly numerical. Like it was numerical. It was my main topic was constructive modeling, and I was doing some numerical stuff. I'm developing some numerical algorithms for a constitutive model, and my objective was to compare the performance of the algorithms. So the things we imagined, we only I only able to cover a certain part of it, not the complete thing that we imagined before starting the task. So it I was like, I'm not very happy about it, but yeah, it got published. That's a big thing, because if you do something, especially in the research part, and if it doesn't get published, then it is a kind of waste of time, and time is a big thing, right? So if it get published, yeah, your efforts are being
Yes.
paid.
So
The
I
form of paper.
still think that was the first stair you
Yeah.
put
Yeah,
across.
so
and-
it's my first paper. Once I do read it now, I find it's a very basic thing, but yeah, at that moment it was a big thing for me, and
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
my advisor really helped me.
And it really helped later, because when you have established things, so it will be easy for the text anywhere. So regarding the study in PhD outside India, in US, so how was your experience preparing for GRE and TOEFL? Any tips or reflection for other aspiring to follow the same path?
Regarding GR, like aspiring for the higher education or for
Yes.
the GRE and TOEFL?
For higher education,
Okay.
because you
Yeah,
may-
definitely, because GRE and TOEFL are just a part of it. So sorry, I just missed your first question.
Yeah, I can repeat it. How was your experience for GRE and TOEFL, or would you like to give any tip or reflection for other aspiring to follow the same path?
Okay.
Because many
Regarding-
nowadays wants to go outside and do PhD.
Yeah, so
in some
regarding
foreign
GRE and TOEFL, I would say if your English is good, like, because GRE and TOEFL are simply a test to evaluate that whether you can communicate in a foreign country. Okay, and GRE involves little bit of what I would say, a little quant approach. I would not say it's that challenging, but it's mainly a test for English. And after COVID, they have become quite flexible. I think it's not a big thing right now after COVID, because during COVID time they relaxed the criteria for GRE and TOEFL. So for me, during the preparation of GRE and TOEFL, English was quite challenging for me, because I never had my English background is my English speaking skills is not that good initially. It was worse. I would not say I'm very proficient, but I would say it was worse in the starting. So yeah, I dedicated like a 2 or 3 months to prepare for it, and for the regarding higher education, I see many crowds in US, like they came for master's degree and master's degree in US, and also PhD for PhD. So the what I would say, just say I'm going to say that just find the relevant topic or relevant field which are going to provide, because which are going to provide you some good jobs. And US is a very nice marketplace. After getting completing the education, they provide you like a 2 or 3 year window time to get a job and earn some money. So it's a nice place to learn, and also that's it. Yeah.
So moving to next part, what was it like being selected for Northwestern University USA, one of the top tier institute in the USA? How did you feel at that moment?
Uh, I was preparing for IES examination at that moment, and I simply gave a interview hoping that I wouldn't get selected. It was, but I do get selected. When I get the offer letter, I was like, no, I'm going to go to Northwestern because I always imagined to do PhD at Northwestern. I do remember the faculty profile, and he's very active with the research. Which is my current advisor, Jusafi Buscanera. So it was it's hard to say in words, but I feel quite happy at that moment. Yeah.
So when did you reach the US from India? How did you feel the entire campus,
Okay.
the language, the culture habits there?
Oh,
Means
yeah, I
I
get.
think it's different from India.
Okay, I'm not going to say very positive answer because COVID was there. So during 2020, uh, when I get the offer, I got the offer in the month of January 2020, and the COVID, the case starts to happen around the month of March, and the consulates were closed. So the main question mark was, I get the offer, but how should I go to US? So, but at that time, the US consulate give a little flexibility to students, and they start consider to students in the case of emergency category. So I got my visa and I went there. And the thing is that once you get used to living in India, you starts to enjoy the crowd. You have many interaction within a day. But moving to a foreign country, especially during COVID time, there's hardly anyone to interact with. So yeah, that was my first challenge, that if I find it socially isolated, and isolation, in the COVID times, everybody has to isolate, but social isolation is a big challenge, especially mentally, mentally, emotionally. If you are isolated, it's hard for you to pass the time. And but yeah, I would say that I would find it much very difficult, because I got also good friends over there. They help me. I get to connect to my family. I used to talk to them regularly, and yeah.
And also, how would you compare your education experience at IIT Kanpur and Northern University, where you are
Northwestern
right
University,
now?
yeah.
So, what stood out the most, and why?
What is today? You mean the education? Okay.
Yeah.
So I would say
Compare.
that IITs are like one of the top, the best institute in India, and the coursework, especially the undergrad courses, are quite rigorous, I would say. It's like very, very at the same level at the same level as being introduced by the top universities around the world. So I would say the coursework was amazing. I had having a nice coursework builds your profile, give you confidence, and once you have the confidence, you can take initiative to do very other things, to do a research. You have to be very rigorous in that area. You have to be mentally sound about the subject that you're going to do research, and IIT do provide that. And in the Northwestern, the best part was in US, the research area is quite active, I would say, because the government invests a lot in research, the US government, and the fund, and because of the investment, they hire PhD students. And since then, you already know that in which area you are going to work. So once you have the input from, the financial input from the government, you start building up the theories, you starting taking risks. Nobody is sure that how they are going to convert to the final idea, but they have some kind of dots in the way, so they try to connect the dots through their approach. And that's what learning is like in PhD, that I had the dot that, okay, this is the project, and this is the project demands this, how should I do that? So yeah, I do. It's a kind of trial and error approach, I would say, but it's once you start doing it, you learn a lot in through the process. You starts to gain more confidence. So in I would say research-wise, the Northwestern was very. It helped me in broadening my vision, giving me confidence that I can be an independent researcher, and till and I studied my undergrad and my masters in IIT. There they provide me very good foundation coursework. So I would appreciate and helpful to both the institute that they provide me such a good opportunity to make me feel independent. And yeah.
So what are the biggest challenge you face living in USA, and how did you overcome it? I am asking as a general prospect, one has psychological fear.
Okay, so
Like,
the I can answer in terms of the okay. So the biggest challenge is to live independently in US, like living in a foreign country where all the rules, the cultures, and language is different. So it's hard for anyone like who. It's hard for any international students who go there to make your mind at peace, because like if you're living in a foreign country, you always be tense that what should I supposed to do in some situation, because there will always be any situation where you need some help. So the quicker you make your mind at peace, like accustomed to this new language, the culture, the food, the more easier will be to to focus on other things. Yeah, the biggest challenge to get used to the new things. Yeah. And I would say in my case it was little social isolation, and especially the food part, because once as an Indian,
there is no mummy to prepare the food.
definitely. And the best part was in IIT, like the food quality is great, and the quality is great, and you get a lot of options in mess, right? So in
And
mess,
other than that, canteen are also.
other that the canteen is also very cheap, like you can survive in like 2,000 3,000 in IIT. Yeah,
Hall 10 Lalaji
Hall-
canteen,
yeah,
Hall 4
exactly.
canteen.
Exactly. So you can survive in IITs like in very small amount.
Yeah.
But if you are going to a foreign country, you can't survive in a small amount. You need a lot of money.
So combining all our conversation, so what advice do you want to give to the guys who want to do a PhD or a post graduation or M.Tech or MS or something as a journal?
So
Like what should they focus
okay,
on?
you mean about higher education?
Yes.
So I would say that if you're aiming for higher education, do that thing which is like relevant currently, because there are many things which are not that relevant and people are doing it, especially in the field of civil engineering and mechanical engineering. Low hanging fruits are not there anymore. So you have to find little those topics from which you can like contribute to the society, because society is going to give focus in terms of money and also fame only to those things which they find relevant.
Yes.
Right. So you have to, like, before starting your journey, just to make ensure that the field in which you're going to enter are really relevant and
Yes.
should be active. Yeah, and that's the main thing. If it is active and relevant, you are going to be in demand, and your research is definitely going to help the society and give, and like you are going to give something back to the
Yes.
society. Yeah.
So to conclude this podcast, so this is Divyanshu Lal from IIT Kanpur and went to doing the PhD at Northwestern University, USA. So he explained his journey from village boy to an IITian and then went
I
to
hardly discuss about my village life.
yeah, but we get to know because preparing you already told that you prepare as a part of IITJEE in Kota, and then you got selected and you then post graduation you left job and then you moved to engineering preparation, then publishing an article, then going to PhD, and we wish Divyanshu Lal all the best for the future endeavors. We want Divyanshu at one of the finest place in US or in India to contribute in research part and finally as a good human being. So yes, we will continue this series. Thank you, Divyanshu Lal.
Thank you, Neeraj sir, and thank you for your kind words. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.